Former Chrisley Knows best star Savannah Chrisley is demanding that one of her siblings drop the family's last name amid betrayal. Savannah has spent over 2 years fighting for her parents' freedom, and now she is not backing down. Keep reading for more details on which sibling she is done with. When Todd and Julie Chrisley headed to prison in January 2023, the family was rocked. Savannah Chrisley became the parent to her 2 youngest siblings, Grayson and Chloe Chrisley. At the same time, she was determined to get her parents released. She firmly believed that their sentences were unwarranted, so she took it to the top. Savannah spoke at the RNC and campaigned for the current president, speaking to whomever she thought could help. By May 2025, her parents had been pardoned by President Trump and released within a day. Now, the family has a brand new reality series unlike anything they have done before. It is real and raw, not based on their comedic antics. Moreover, it will show what life was like without Todd and Julie, and then learning that they had been pardoned. One focus will be on those who betrayed the Chrisleys, including their own family members. Lindsay Chrisley, who came from Todd's first marriage, has been blamed for putting her parents behind bars. Now, Savannah is suggesting that she should lose the Chrisley last name in a preview for the Chrisleys. Back to reality? The prosecutor read the letter Lindsay wrote to the FBI. "We're no longer family, lose our last name." Todd, Chrisley's mother, Nanny Fi Chrisley, has always believed in her faith and in family. She notes how different the dynamic is now. Yet she is still seemingly close with Lindsay Chrisley, regardless of what Savannah Chrisley has said. Lindsay did go as far as to drop her family last name and take on Landsman. This is her boyfriend's last name, so many believed she had gotten married. However, she made it clear that she was moving away from the Chrisleys. Fans who saw the preview for the Chrisleys Back to Reality were elated to see the family back together. They went on to praise Savannah Chrisley for holding everything down when her parents were gone. One had this to say about Lindsay and her behavior: "No one will ever truly know what and why things happened the way that they did. Yet this will be a time to air all grievances and hopefully move on." Do you agree that Lindsay needs to distance herself from the family? And does Savannah Chrisley have a valid point? Let us know and watch the premiere of The Chrisleys Back to Reality, airing September 1st, 2025 on Lifetime. Savannah Chrisley stood at the edge of everything she had known. A hush settled around the household as news spread throughout the boxed walls and polished floors. The betrayal had come from within, a sibling turning confidant into conspirator, heartache into strategy. Savannah's gaze swept across rooms where laughter once echoed, where trust had thrived. Now, only shadows lingered. She moved through the living space as if retracing steps toward a decision already made. Each photograph she passed, family vacations, birthday celebrations, holiday gatherings, served as markers of trust eroded. The betrayal had not happened in confrontation, but in calculated choices, the rearrangement of loyalty into something unrecognizable. Savannah understood the weight of consequences, the ripple through her own life, the public scrutiny, the way the family name bore the brunt of choices not hers to bear. A firm resolve settled in her chest. She envisioned the demand not as punishment, but as reckoning. The sibling would face a consequence equally public, equally palpable. That demand would reverberate through the same channels that had amplified the betrayal. Savannah envisioned documentation of restitution. Restitution in the form of admissions, of accountability, and restitution in the form of actions to correct harm done. This demand would draw lines, mend some wounds, and create space for healing, or at least closure. In the quiet of the office, she laid out a plan. Documents bearing financial records, media statements, social media activity. Each piece cataloged the breach. Her rationale was clear. If the sibling had weaponized inside knowledge, then Savannah would counter with transparency. She framed a demand for restitution to charity funds tied to causes meaningful to the family, where the sibling would contribute not only funds but time. The purpose: to redirect betrayal into restoration, to shift energy from chaos into charitable contributions that matched the damage inflicted. Savannah steered clear of retribution based purely on anger. Instead, she anchored her response in values the family had long upheld: integrity, accountability, and service. The demand laid out a series of steps: public acknowledgement of wrongdoing, financial contributions to victims or charitable causes, and a structured period of community outreach. This demand came after careful thought, consultation with legal counsel and trusted advisors, and deep reflection on what was just. It was not about exile or ostracism, but about earning the chance to begin rebuilding trust. As the demand circulated among family advisors, Savannah's mind returned to memories of siblinghood. Childhood summers chasing fireflies in the yard, holiday dinners with brightly wrapped presents, whispered secrets late at night. In those moments of nostalgia, betrayal felt impossible. Yet betrayal had come not with the voice of confrontation, but in actions taken behind closed doors. The siblings' betrayal had been systematic, quietly undermining public image and family unity with calculated decisions. Savannah's demand, therefore, carried equal magnitude: public, organized, intentional. Tension pulsed in the household as expectations built. Other siblings sensed the shift in tenor. Family loyalty strained under the weight of the demand. Some felt conflicted, understanding the pain and reasoning behind the demand, while grappling with fear of ruin or further fracturing. Savannah maintained unwavering composure. Her posture remained steady, measured, deliberate. Every interaction carried expectancy, signaling that the demand stood firm. She avoided spectacle. Her leadership showed resolve without theatrics. Media attention intensified. Reporters framed the situation as a collision between fame and familial fracture. Savannah's demand offered specificity: a timeline for acknowledgement, financial calculation, deadlines for charitable acts, metrics of community hours. She insisted on independent oversight. Trustees, advisors, even family elders. The demand transcended personal grievance. Savannah positioned it as a restoration of principles, a model for handling internal breaches with transparency rather than silence or suppression. Behind the scenes, she navigated communications carefully. Public statements referenced values without naming specifics. Insiders within social media circles noted the siblings struggled under mounting pressure: threat of exclusion from future family projects, public ostracism, and legal implications. Savannah's demand avoided violence or banishment, but carried the weight of loss, reputational consequence, severed privileges, withheld inheritance tied to future projects. Inside family spaces, Savannah enacted her leadership. She allocated tasks: coaches for community outreach, lawyers to prepare documentation, mental health professionals to guide healing. She arranged restorative circles, structured gatherings where feelings would be aired, boundaries reestablished, paths forward defined. Her demands sought an honest reckoning of harm, not vengeance. If acceptance, apology, and tangible remedy arrived, partial reconciliation might eventually follow. The siblings' response took shape in private. Papers arrived in Savannah's hands: a notarized admission of harm, a commitment to charity fund installments and community service hours, a preliminary outline of personal rehabilitation steps. Savannah reviewed each item through the lens of her demand. Every detail indicated acceptance of responsibility. The documentary nature of the submission transformed betrayal into quantifiable accountability. Families felt the divide shift. No longer a sibling under suspicion, now a participant on terms set by Savannah and family elders. The demand had shifted power. The sibling regained a path forward, but only after meeting obligations and acknowledging wrong. Savannah continued coordinating oversight meetings, scheduling progress reviews, tracking donations, measuring outreach hours. She sustained momentum, refusing to let reconciliation slide into forgetfulness. Months passed. Savannah observed incremental growth. Charity fund contributions reached targets. The siblings spent weekends at children's shelters, food banks, nonprofit events, serving under supervision, accompanied by family liaisons. Each step served not just public appearance but personal transformation. Savannah scheduled reflection meetings. The sibling provided written narratives of lessons learned, enumerated harms caused, outlined steps for future repair. The demand had created structure for accountability beyond empty apology. Public perception shifted. Initially, headlines framed entire saga as family implosion. Over time, coverage highlighted the demand-driven restoration plan, a blueprint of accountability, charity, and transformation. Social media commentators debated whether Savannah's demand was too harsh or a model for other high-profile families facing internal betrayal. Inside the household, trust began, tentatively, to reknit. Other siblings expressed gratitude for the clarity and leadership Savannah provided. The family brand regained dignity through transparent handling of the crisis.